couple of our kids, things don't stay the same. So, check it. 511 and 512 are due today. If you somehow think that I'm playing like gotcha or something like that, if we go back to last week, I told you guys, like, we're collecting these on Tuesday, but we didn't have school Tuesday. So if they weren't done on Tuesday, there was your chance to get them done. And then you again had a chance yesterday to get them done if they weren't. So if they're still not done, you need to ask yourself why. Like, is it because they weren't written down in your plan book? Is it because you didn't check your plan book? So first things first, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of your plan book can be crossed out. Please make sure 521 is in your plan book. I still need to update mine because I need to like take a picture and make sure I got it. I was busy with some other stuff this morning, making sure that we're good to go as we have a 2-day week today. So we're going to check 511 and 512. The point of that is not for you to try to write down answers. Guys, if you were just wanting to try to write down answers, how could you do that? No, but how? Like when and how could you just go write down answers? Liam? Where? And it has all the... Yeah. So when we go over homework as a class, you are not frantically writing down answers. That's cheating. If you're going to cheat, you're at least going to do it on your own time. When we check together, we are like taking questions over problems that were too difficult. Not, I was lazy and I just played video games all the 2 cold days, but that you actually could not do them. So on 511, everyone should be looking at 511. Do we have questions on problem 9? Like you could not do it, it was too difficult. Even if it's not done, it should be out, so Mrs. Fisher and I can walk around and just make sure you have this homework. And if it's not done, it should be going on your to-do list.
Like today or two.
Yeah. Question 10, the fish tank problem. Guys, I literally have the fish tank problem up here on the whiteboard. The fish tank problem is on my dry erase board.
Wait, Mr. Hudson, what about the
I don't know what this is.
chapter 5 math?
It's not worth candy yet. Like these? Yeah, like dude, we missed 2 school days. I'm behind schedule now. Yeah, that'll potentially be worth candy like the next time that we use it. All right, number 11. Using that giant 1, we just do the same thing on top and bottom. So then if we were trying to find out what the multiplier was, we can divide it backwards. And guys, remember, I'm recording right now, so if you want some help with your homework, go back and like you can listen to my little like hints and help that I'm giving right now. If you know how much he made in 40 hours, how do we get back to a single hour? Just shout it out. Divide by 40, right? So we'll do that on top and bottom. Guys, if you have questions, stop me. Number 13, we need common denominators. Jackson, stop talking while I'm talking or you're going to move. Minus a negative always becomes actually plus a positive. Minus a negative. Taking away debt is a good thing. We are not writing down answers right now. If you're going to do that, you're going to do it on your own time. Because that's called cheating. You should have tried this on your own. So no questions on that one. So 512, I have too many windows open. I'll find it in a moment. It's because I can't use Adobe anymore.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I think the district stopped paying for Adobe for us. No, that's 511. I want 512.
All the calculators like this.
They're in the bins, dude. It's because people keep not putting them away. All right, so again, your examples from class, you should have stuff written there from what we did in class. I won't have the same stuff written because I did these answer keys years ago. But our paint problem, we're just comparing red to total. To find percent, you're always comparing to total. But when and sorry it's tough to see, I know yellow doesn't show up very well on the smartboard. Yellow to red, they want specifically yellow to red. There's no total involved in part B. There's no total involved in part B. It's 15 to 5, and that reduces to 3 to 1. Janelle on her quiz. I think we talked about this problem together in class, so I doubt there's questions there. Problem 20, we're practicing area, right? Length times width to find areas, and we add them up. There are other ways to do that. You could kind of put some walls together if you wanted to, but I color-coded. And again, fractions need common denominators. Now, a couple of you, I already graded this homework because like you turned it in early. Please pay attention that we're going from A to B, even though on the paper it looks like we'd be going B to A. We're trying to go A to B, so we're getting bigger if you convert 5/3 to a decimal. Anyone have that decimal written down? It's 1 point. Say it louder. 5/3. So we have 1 and how many thirds left over? We'd have 1 and 2/3. So it's like 1.666 forever?
No,
It's-
it's like
Nah, Josh, I hear you. Nah. Your calculator's lying to you. That 7 does not exist. It ran out of space and it's rounded. That 6 goes on forever. That's why the fraction form is better. Yeah, your calculator's lying to you.
It's calculated.
Now, there is a way to go into your settings and tell it stop doing that, but every time you reset the calculator, like when we take like a state test or something, we have to reset the calculator, that'll disappear. So that's why we don't really waste time on that. We just tell you the last number can't be trusted. You just can't trust it. And I think that was it. Yeah, so now we're on to today. So if those are done, turn them in. They are due today. If they're not done, it needs to go on your to-do list that you need to get those done. They're due today. So, like, turn them in at some point today or they're late. Now, speaking truthfully, I'm probably not going to update map tonight. I have game night. I'm hosting at my house. I'm probably not going to update map tonight. So if these aren't done and you get them turned in tomorrow, you'll probably sneak by without ever looking like they were late. But that means you gotta do them tonight. Are my words getting through into your ears? Because you look like a bunch of zombies. Alright, put anything else away. The only paper you need out is the one talking about probability of, like, stuff up here. Did you read the rest of the whiteboard? Like where the empty bag of chips is? Where is the arrow pointing to the chips? Where's that arrow coming from? So the reason it's up there is we talked about food labels last week. Food labels are full of percents.
And Kate Adrian, please report to the very office for just a moment. However, chat, then back to Mike and Kate Adrian to the very office for just a moment, please.
Alright. What if? Now, I'm not actually making this bet. This is not actually happening. I have video evidence. But what if I offered up, I'll bet your homework. I will, like, we're going to enter into some sort of gambling. And if you win, now hold up. I will also tell you, tomorrow, those of you who are caught up on homework might get a little reward. Those of you who are behind on homework might just deal with being behind and having to catch up. So just telling you right now, those of you who get your homework turned in today, it might have some kind of benefit to you tomorrow. But what if, standard deck of cards, I'm willing to bet your homework. Now, if you don't believe me, standard deck, you can check all the whatever, assuming that all the cards are still here. Now, jokers do not belong in a standard deck of cards. So we are putting that off to the side. What if I'm not gambling, but I let you pick first? And here's the two options. You can pick, here's how this is going to work. We're going to shuffle up. We're going to draw one card. If that card is black, you win. Or, because guys, there's black and red, right? If you've never played cards, black cards, red cards. Or, if that card is a club. I want you to turn to your neighbor and discuss what would you bet on more likely to happen? The card coming up as a black card or the card coming up as a club? Chat with each other for a second. Liam, what are you thinking? Are you betting on the black card coming up or the club coming up? Black? All right, Liam lost. Sorry about it, dude. Ooh, okay. Liam says it wasn't a club either, but all I'm saying is you have to win. Jackson, what would you bet on? Ooh, Jackson won. It was also a club, right? We're putting that back in the middle. Caroline, what would you have bet on? Why? What do you mean? Would you have won here if you bet on clubs? So guys, this is where we need to make sure we all understand what we're talking about. Hearts are kind of obvious. It's a heart, right? Diamonds are kind of obvious. They're diamonds. But the black cards are the trickier cards that, like, if you have a grandma like mine and she thought playing cards was somehow, like, evil, you might not know. Clubs are what my friend group lovingly nicknamed puppy paws. Like, no joke. My friend Kira, love you, Kira. Oh, wait, like, we're playing euchre, and she's like, I call puppy paws. And we're like, okay, Kira's calling clubs because she just knows this is puppy paws. Spades? Who can tell me why spades are called spades? I was way too old when I learned this, I will admit to you. Jimmy? Say more. It is shaped like a shovel with a handle that if you go into the, like, a pointed shovel is also known as a spade. Guys, I literally didn't know that until I worked on a landscaping crew. And they'd be like, go get the spade. And I was like, spade! Like, I just always heard it called shovel. Yeah, a spade is another name for a shovel. So, spades, clubs, right? So, Owen, what did you bet on? Spades or black or clubs?
I bet on black.
Why?
Because, I mean, I guess
What, say what, like, what was her reason? Because some of us maybe didn't hear it.
like half the deck is black, but like there's less clubs.
Ooh. So again, I have too many tabs open. If I can find my way to Schoology. Schoology. In our Chapter 5 folder. And again, if you want a paper printout, come see me. But if you have a grandma like I did, and you maybe don't know about decks of cards, you might not. You could Google this. I know you could. But I put it together here nicely to try to give you a one-stop spot for a deck of cards and pair of dice rolls. Now, if your homework asks you about a number cube, that just means a single die. But normally, Monopoly, like whatever games we're talking about, normally we talk about pair of dice. Hey, my gentlemen who are secretly doodling, you're not very good at secretly doing it. I need you to come back to paying attention to class now. If you don't, I'm going to have to take things away soon. Would anyone like to read? Reese, do you have any interest in reading? Let's test your eyes here. Read that paragraph. Have you ever played? Ooh, pause. Hold on real quick. So, like we said, that we remember things better when we actually write them down. Did you actually pass out graph paper? It's okay if we didn't. Sweet. So Mrs. Fisher gave you guys all graph paper, so you could either put it on your graph paper, or if you want to squeeze it in your notes. But honestly, I'd probably, just like how we had this paper that we said is going to be worth candy, now it's actually going to be next week now because I'm behind schedule. But I'm going to grab a new piece of graph paper and just put like Chapter 5 math notes still or continued. So you have a moment to do this since I'm doing this. And I don't know if any other classes use chapter numbers like I am. So, I mean, if nobody else does, you don't probably need to write math. But I'm going to label, this is coming from 5.2.1. And we just said fair. What did it tell us fair means? Just I need to shout it out.
Everybody has the same amount of luck.
Yeah, equal chance at winning. Guys, that's about as short of a definition as I can make. I'm trying to make your life easier. Fair means equal chance at winning. So, if I make you play person against person, one of you picks probability, like one of you gets to pick black and one of you picks clubs. Is that fair?
No,
Why not?
because half the deck is black and one part of the deck is black.
If you look at my probability cheat sheet that I am happy to print you if you want, or if you go to Schoology, right? Like, I mean, this is why I said it saves paper if you don't need it and you just come use Schoology. Jackson just said half of the deck is black. Now, another way to say that, how many cards total are there in the deck? Cough, cough, nudge, nudge. What's it say right here? 52. How many of them are black? Cough. So we could, on our paper, where it's part of our homework, the probability of black, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and, I'll just write this in black. So that would be 26 out of 52, which Jackson said really is 1/2. And guys, what percent did we say goes with 1/2? It's a 50%, right? Turn to your neighbor and figure out, get all the way to the percent chance of clubs. What is our percent chance of clubs? So I would do fraction first, then get to percent. I would do fraction first and then get to percent. Then I want you to try to answer part C. You guys can read on your own. Try to answer part C. See what you think. Take a moment. Read part C and chat about it together. Trying to make sure I don't mix our class cards with the deck of cards. Clayton, what'd you say about probability of club?
I said it's a 13 over 52, and that's 1/4 of the deck, and that 1/4 is 25%.
Boom shakalaka. Clayton said there are 13 clubs out of 52. We don't even really need to write down that. Like, if you know decks of cards, a fourth, right? There are 4 suits. Clubs are a fourth of them. 25%. Now, part C goes on to ask us not to actually do this, but to predict it. We're going to do this 100 times. So, this, we're going to shuffle up. Draw a card. See if it's a face. Is this a face? No. And then we're going to do what with that card? Replace it, because otherwise, are there still 52 cards here if I don't put this back?
51.
No, there's only 51, and if I do that again, now there's only 50, and if I do it again... So, like, that's why we always need to put the cards back. Okay, so on this first draw, I shuffle up. I go to draw from the entire 52 cards. What's my chance of getting a face card? What's my chance of getting a face card? Liam? How'd you figure that out? Face, pause for a second, face, Jack, Queen, King. Depending on who you ask, sometimes they'll count aces, but like it doesn't have a face on it, right? Like aces are often played as the high card above the king, but sometimes it's played as the low card because there's no one. So when we're talking face cards, we're talking cards with faces, and Liam said there's 12, so our chance there is 12 out of 52. So down here, guys, if you would please. Liam said probability of a face is 12 out of 52. Trying to make sure that I'm writing this stuff on the paper too, so I have one to give to anyone who's absent from class. Okay, so then, now that we have that written down, I want you to turn to a neighbor and try to answer that question of if we did this a total of 100 times, and I want you to just approximate. You don't have to be perfect, but I want you to approximate. What if we do this 100 times? Talk for like 30 seconds. What if we do this 104 times?
Well, then we could just replace it in the time. Oh yeah. It would go back to start, wouldn't it? Yeah.
What if instead of 100 times, we did it 104 times? Yes, we can. I won't ask you to do anything that you can't. Explain to me why you think you can't do it. That's not what it said. Did you read the problem? Read out loud what it says. Take the bottle out of your mouth. Read out loud. We're not replacing any cards with any different cards. We're saying when we pull a card, regardless of what it is, it goes back in the deck. Because we put it back. We don't keep it out. We put it back in the deck. Because if you keep it out, now the deck has changed. All right, bring it back together. Because I realized one thing that maybe if you haven't played a lot of cards, you haven't experienced this. So I like to play this game that's back on the shelf called Clank. And in Clank, I have a card in my deck that lets me teleport to any room that I'm next to. Sometimes it lets me get around fighting a monster. Guys, I'm not making any of this up, I promise you. I'm probably going to play Clank tonight. Sometimes it lets me get around using extra boots. Sometimes it lets me get somewhere that I can't get otherwise, like it's locked. But what if every time I got that card, you need to be listening because you're the one who didn't understand this. What if every time I got that card, I could just put it right back into my deck and get it the next turn? Is that fair? What normally happens when you're playing a game like that? You get your hand, you play your hand, you go all the way through your whole deck, right? You got to get to the bottom, then get all your cards, shuffle them, and because otherwise, like, if I put that awesome card back in the deck, it's not fair that I get to just keep getting it over and over again. Think about that, but the reverse way. What if I have, I don't know, two of you playing against each other betting red versus black? Right now, what's your chance of red versus black? It's 50-50, right? Red has a 50% chance, black is it. So, Clayton, you make a bet, red or black? What? Black? Alright, so, watch. So, Clayton did not get black. I am not going to replace this. Owen, what do you bet now? Red or black? Why? But if I didn't put this back, is it still 50-50?
No.
Now, red has a disadvantage because the cards that are still over here have one less red. Major, red or black from the deck. What are you going to bet? Why? Now there's 2 red cards missing. So Major had a higher chance of getting this black card because 2 red cards were missing and we knew that. This is why, unless you want to mess with the probability, when you draw a card, it goes back into the deck. That's what it means by replaced it. We're not changing what the card is. We're just saying put it back. So if you need to make a note there, that just means put it back, Jackson. If you need to make a note here, that it just means put it back in. All that means is don't keep the card out. Replace it means just put it back in. It does not mean change what the card is. Okay, so Elias, what's your thought about if we do this 100 times? Do you want to give me an approximate? Do you think it would be more or less than 12 face cards if we do it 100 times? You think less than 12? Because we know in the regular deck, I'm just checking that I'm hearing you right. In the regular deck, right, there are how many face cards? 12, we said that. Out of how many cards total? 52. So now what they're telling us is the total that we want to do this. What do they want us to make our total? 100! Guys, what if instead of 100, what number would be a whole lot nicer down there? 104. You should be writing this down. So what if we change the rules and say instead of 100, let's do it 104 times. How do I go from 52 to 104? So how many face cards would I expect? And this takes us right back to proportions being like everything that we're doing right now. All right, now what if I change the rules of our game? Now, you're still picking black or spades, but listen. Here's your options now. Sorry, thank you, clubs. You are betting on will the card I pick come up not black or not clubs. You're betting on the not. So what do you think is better chance that we come up not black or not clubs? Chat with each other about what you would bet. I'm going to random card to see what you guys think.
Now you're doubting yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You had a good explanation.
Always switch to me.
Crap. I'm recording right now. I have a video to show you guys, but I can't while I'm in the middle of recording, so I got to save it for a minute. But assuming we get through what we need to get through, I got a video to show you guys. So, Lakin, what's your thoughts about the whole not... Actually, can you read for me first? Can we read this at 24? Hey, Jackson, can you get rid of that bottle? Like, put it, even if it's on the table, you need it out of your hands right now. Thank you. Hey, guys, we're reading along with Lakin, which means your eyes should be on your paper. Pause. I would underline that, highlight it, put a star over here. That's a new vocab word for us. The complement means the other thing. So, for us, Tuesday, Wednesday, the regular would have been probability of having school. The complement was the probability of us not having school. And, well, that happened. Probability of my friends coming to my house tonight versus probability of my friends don't. Probability I don't know, stub my toe versus probability I don't, right? It's just whatever else can happen. Go ahead, Elias. So, talk to your neighbor. What's the probability of not getting a club? Turn and chat with each other. What's the probability we do not get a club? Picked up the wrong deck. It's not the deck I'm drawing from. Oh yeah, and then part B is not a face card, right? Not a face card. Jimmy, you don't have to use what I'm writing down. Can you talk to me about the probability of not getting a club? You don't have to use what I'm writing down. You can use whatever you want. Probability of not getting a club. What do you like? Are you talking percents and a fraction? Like, I don't know what you mean. Now, where are you getting that from? I don't know where the 15 came from. And it's okay if you're just guessing. Like, that's okay to tell me. Just guessing? Totally fine. So if we are in a situation of just guessing, we should probably go get some more information. How many clubs did we say that there are? 13. It's right up here, guys. Like, I typed all this out for you to make your life easier. So, how many not clubs are there? The rest of them, right? Whatever all of these cards add up to, they're not clubs. So, Josh, what were your thoughts about the probability of not clubs?
75% is not.
Because if the probability of club is 25%, the probability of not clubs, Josh said, must be 75%. Because now this is actually going to be 39, I think. Yeah, because 13 times 3. But guys, you wouldn't have to use this if you look at the fact that, oh yeah, there are 4 suits. As I tell you guys right up here, there are 4 suits, and not clubs is 3 of those 4. So 3 of those 4. What about not a face card? Liam, since you were all about the face cards over there. Ooh, let's start with fractions. How many face cards were in the deck? There's 12, right? Because if we check, there's 12. 3 in every suit. So how can we figure out how many are not face cards? Subtraction. So 52 minus 12, because there are 12 face cards, right? We know there are 12 face cards. Jimmy, you with me? No, you're not. Can you get with me? So 40 out of 52 is actually like our better answer. But Liam wanted to go ahead and try to get to percent. So we're going 40 divided. And that's how, now it's actually closer to 77% if we round it. Yeah, so I'm going to squiggly equals 77%. So if you had to bet, which of these would you bet on? Not clubs or not face? Not face, right?